What's up YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be on how I make these custom 112 scale weapons for my custom knight that I made. So this is my current version. I'll show you guys. This is my current version of the sword. So you guys can see there is a little bit of, noticeable marks, but all in all, pretty nice. You have the, the blade really nicely done. And then I do have a, like a handle on it that, it's like a wrapped handle, which is pretty cool. I like that touch. So I'll show you guys how I made this and the different versions that I made. So to start, what I did was I grabbed these right here. These are just craft sticks, more along the lines of like popsicle sticks, pretty much wood sticks. I believe I did get these from, the dollar store, Dollar Tree. I'm sure you could definitely find these on, on Michael's. So they're a little bit thicker. I'll just leave it like that. Just move it out the way. So basically what you want to do is you want to find one that's pretty straight. I just picked one out of the packaging, but generally my rule of thumb is to find one that's pretty straight. And what you want to do is you want to kind of trace the outline of the sword design from the stick, right? Whether you want to make it a little bit thicker or thinner, it's really up to you. For my rule of thumb, I try to use one of the edges. If I'm not using a ruler to really draw out the lines and make them as straight as possible, I'll try to use the side as a, at least one of the sides of the blade to kind of make sure that one of them is at least straight. And then from there, I'll trace out the design and cut it out with I have this mini X-Acto knife, which I'll trace out and I'll cut as close as possible. And then once I get the shape cut out, I'll try to file it down with sandpaper. But I'll show you the different type of designs that I've made so you guys can kind of see. So this was my first design right here. It just looks pretty bad, but this was just kind of a rough edge to kind of see how I was liking it. How it would look. As you guys can see, this is more along the lines of like a kitchen knife that you'd probably see, in your household. This doesn't look like a sword that you'd ever see anywhere. So like I said, this was just kind of a rough template just to kind of get an idea of how it was going to work. As you guys can see, the edges are, pretty crooked too. So that's another thing. I tried using like a rounded edge, but ultimately I found that, that isn't going to be the best way with this type of material, just because the lines on the wood tends to go, whether you look at it vertical or horizontal, but basically it's meant to go across the design. So when you're trying to do a curve, it's just not going to work well with the material, right? So then my second version of the weapon was going to be this one right here. This is a bigger design, more akin to like the Cloud's Buster Sword from, what is it, Final Fantasy VII, I believe, or something like that. Can't remember the numbers offhand, but as you guys can see, this is the exact length of the stick. And basically what I did was I just chopped off the end at a diagonal line, and then of course I traced out the design for the the handle, the tang, and all that stuff. And then this was actually the first design that I used to kind of do a wrapping for the guard. Not for the guard, but for the, the handle. So what I did was I basically grabbed this, I have this glue that I'll show you guys in just a moment. So basically what I have was this glue. It's called Clear Gel Tacky Glue. I did get this from Michael. So this glue right here, my wife actually put me onto this, but this glue is actually, it's not a warm glue, it's a cold glue. Which is really good. So if you're ever using it for and I've used it for these type of, to weld these things together. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of Forged on Fire. So when I say weld, I mean, I put them together, but basically, I use this to put it together. So what I did was I put the glue on, the whole handle pretty much all over. And then what I did is, this is actually sewing thread. So what I did was I just threaded it around, did a couple times. And then to make sure that it all sticks, I just take some of the more of the glue and I just put it on the upper layer to make sure it all kind of sticks together. As you can see, there's a little thread here that kind of missed its mark. So, that's fine. And then there's a little bit that kind of actually got pushed up. So, I actually before the glue had finally dried, I put it into the figure's hand, and it actually had moved all the material upward. So that was another lesson that I had learned. So for my most recent version, which is this one right here, where I wanted to make it a little bit thinner. Ultimately, I did wait for it to dry and cure, but I used this red material, which is really nice. I think it makes it look more stand out. With this version, I did try to add a guard to it, but like I said, with the way that the material works, it doesn't really lend well to any other kind of, I even tried to do like just, a regular square guard, or a rectangle guard, but it just ultimately didn't work. So I opted to just do this way. And as you guys can see, the handle is actually crooked, so it's not exactly centered on there. I mean, which is fine. I don't really care too much. I mean, whatever, it's not a big deal. But this one I actually did trace out with a ruler because it was going to be a little bit thinner. So all in all, I definitely think you guys should try this out. It's definitely cool. I'll show you guys how these ones different, how they fit in his hand. What I would love to do, and the only reason why I'm not making a full-ended drawing, and maybe I will, I just want to kind of show you guys the process, but maybe down the line I'll do it. I would love to do like a knife, or maybe even do another sword that, make him have like dual blades or something like that. That's pretty cool. So this is how this looks on it. So you guys can see, this is a little bit loose because when his grip actually is much tighter, but when having put this this handle on, it's much thicker, as you guys can see. So it actually had changed the way his handle is gripped, which is fine to me because, the weapon that he's normally meant to hold is a lightsaber, which is fairly thin. So these are, much thicker. So I'll show you how this one looks on. And this one actually, he's not even able to, put it on the whole arm, but there you go. That looks nice. So pretty cool. This is more along the lines of like a, Dark Souls type of vibe, where you have the, the shield, the small shield with the gigantic long sword to, if you guys are familiar with Dark Souls or Demon Souls, you definitely know what that's from. And then of course I went with the more again, last but not least, I went with the more traditional kind of look with the, the thinner, smaller blade. I think this one looks really good. So I like the different versatility and options that, you could definitely do. Like I said, I would love to be able to do things with like a knife and, maybe switch it up, do like, dual blade, something like that, something to kind of switch it up. And with these projects, I'm all about doing things that are simple, cost effective, and, are going to be fun, right? I don't like to do things that are overly complicated because that's just not my style, right? If whatever he felt. But yeah, with these projects, I would say at the most, tracing it out and just waiting for, the paint to settle, I would say this could take you upwards of maybe an hour, if that, right? So, I highly recommend you guys trying it. This is, again, my method of trying it. If you have another way of doing it, please let me know. I would love to be able to kind of see what you guys think. But, again, this is just me using things that are readily available to me. And, I'm not a 3D printer. I don't have a 3D printer on hand. So, of course, I don't have a plethora of different swords to use from. I only really have like katanas. So this was something that I kind of thought out of the box and, wanted to, with this, I could just, do a whole different bunch of things. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. Peace.